everyone, Chef Sarah here with the Sylvia Center. We're a nonprofit specializing in providing food and nutrition education in New York City and Columbia County. Today I am going to make pad thai. So we have 1 week left after this of our Noodle Passport series. This is a really great recipe that I'm making today. Just like all the other recipes in our Noodle Passport, there is so much room to make this recipe your own and kind of change it up and make it exactly how you want. So I'm going to go over all the ways that you can do that here in just a minute. I'm going to go wash my hands and I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. My hands are washed and I am ready to make some pad thai. So I'm going to go over the ingredients that I'm going to use today first, and then I'm going to jump into making the sauce to go with our pad thai. So here I have some really amazing vegetables. I have carrots. You can chop these. I went ahead and grated these just to make it nice and easy. I have garlic and ginger, which mixed together is so fantastic, and this room already smells amazing. I have cilantro and green onions. That's going to add a lot of flavor. And I also have bean sprouts. I'm using fresh bean sprouts today. If you can find them, those are definitely your best option. Here I have a couple scrambled eggs. I have some tofu here, which tofu is really great in this dish because on its own, tofu doesn't have a lot of flavor. But when you're adding ingredients like ginger and garlic and all these other items, it's going to give so much flavor to this tofu. You could use a different protein if you want. You could use chicken or beef or whatever you prefer. You could skip the tofu or the protein altogether and just bump up all those veggies and add a ton more veggies. It's really up to you. I also have carrots. I went ahead and grated those carrots. You can definitely chop those, but today I felt like grating them just to make it really nice and easy. I have broccoli right here, and I did steam that broccoli. I have a couple limes just to garnish, and I have my rice noodles. So I really recommend cooking the rice noodles to how it says on the package. There's a couple different ways to cook them, so I recommend reading the package and cooking them exactly how that says. Okay, so now that we've got those ingredients ready, I am going to talk about the sauce that we're going to make. So this sauce is really simple. It's really just 4 ingredients, but you can see how it balances all the flavors. It has sweet and it has salty and citrus and acidity. So it's a really great 4 ingredients that are really well balanced. So our first ingredient is soy sauce. As you can tell, I buy soy sauce in a very large container here. It's really cost effective to do it this way, especially since I do use a lot of soy sauce. So that will be our first ingredient. I'm gonna add a little bit more. And it's okay to make a little extra sauce. That way, if you add your sauce in and decide you want more, you have a little bit extra to add. So it gives you some room to improve. Okay, so I'm gonna add a few tablespoons of tamarind paste. So this is a tamarind concentrate. You can also buy this in more of a paste form. I like to use this concentrate because it has so much flavor. This is going to give our pad thai a lot of depth. It's really, really yummy. And then I'm going to just squeeze some lime juice in there. This is really where we're balancing out those flavors. So we have our acidity, we have our saltiness from the soy sauce, and I'm going to add in just a little bit of brown sugar. We don't need much. Just a little bit, and that's going to once again help to balance out all of our flavors. Okay, if you wanted to, you could whisk this all together. I'm just going to use a spoon. Just give that just a quick stir. It smells really, really good, and that's going to make our pad thai super yummy. Okay, so I'm going to put these ingredients away, and then we'll come back and I'll start cooking. So my oil is nice and hot, and I added in garlic and ginger. So once that really starts to saute, it usually takes about 1 to 2 minutes. that's when I'm going to add in my tofu. So by adding this tofu at this point, it's really going to soak in all those flavors. I like to think of tofu kind of like a sponge. So whatever it gets cooked in, those are the flavors that it's really, really going to soak in. So by cooking this in that garlic and ginger, the tofu is going to taste like garlic and ginger, which is the goal, is to find as many of those amazing flavors that we can soak in there as possible. So I'm just giving this just a quick stir. If you want, you can really brown the tofu. It is up to you. At this point, I'm removing the tofu, the garlic and ginger. If a little bit of the garlic and ginger stays in the pan, it is totally fine. I'm using a slotted spoon because I do want to leave a lot of that oil. That oil right now is basically a garlic ginger oil and has so much flavor. So that's what we want to cook the rest of our dish in. So adding the noodles in to that really flavorful oil, I'm just giving those just a quick saute. And once again, I'm kind of coating those the same way that I coated the tofu. So I'm trying to really soak in those flavors of the ginger and garlic. These noodles are already cooked, but I made sure to not overcook them. It's really important not to overcook them since we are heating them again. I added in about half of my sauce at this point. And I'm just going to really stir that around. I'm going to let this cook for about 2 to 3 minutes. And you can see after that 2 minutes, that sauce is really starting to reduce down a little bit. You can see those little bubbles. And when I stir it, you can see it's really actually starting to coat the noodles. This is when we want to add in our egg. So I just scrambled those eggs. And I'm going to use my spatula here to continue to scramble them. It doesn't have to be perfect because they will cook in there, but I like to get them, I would say, at least about 75% of the way cooked before you start to mix everything together. And with this, if you really wanted those eggs to be kind of separate strands of eggs, you could cook them in a separate pan and then add them in at the very end. I like how they kind of add to the sauce, so I'm going to just mix mine right in. But you always could do that separate if that's what you prefer. And you can see I'm just going to give this a nice stir, make sure it's all mixed together. This is when I want to start adding in all of those veggies. So you can see the carrots and the bean sprouts. I'm also going to add in my broccoli and those herbs. So I have my cilantro and green onions. And then I'm going to also add in that tofu that's flavored with our ginger and garlic. So these are all of our ingredients in there. And this is when we want to give it a really good stir. This would also be the point that if you were going to add peas or edamame or a different protein or any other herbs, you would want to add them at this point as well. So I'm just giving this a really good stir. I did decide to add the rest of the sauce. This is something that you'll have to decide if it's what you want. I do like mine a little saucy, all those extra flavors. So I did add the last little bit of that sauce, but I recommend you taste it and see what you think it needs. So at this point, once everything is heated through, probably about another 2 to 3 minutes, it is completely done. And look at all those beautiful colors. Okay, so I just finished my pad thai. It smells so good in here. I can smell the ginger and the garlic, the cilantro and scallions. That tamarind is really coming through, and the soy sauce. All those flavors together, it just smells so good. So here's my finished bowl. I had a couple lime wedges just for a little extra acidity. I also put some cilantro on top. Even though I put some in there, I added a little bit extra on top just for a really nice freshness. Once again, you could really make this so many different ways. You could change what veggies are in here. You could change the protein. This would be really good if you added peas or edamame. Your options are really endless. You could add different herbs. Or as always, what I recommend is if there's something in here that you love so much, why not double it up? So I hope you enjoy this recipe. I'll see everyone next week for our final week of our Noodle Passport series when we make one of my favorite recipes, which is our veggie mac and cheese. It is so yummy and I cannot wait. So I'll see everyone next week. Keep cooking. Bye everyone.